Go ahead.
Hi all. Very good evening. Welcome to our fifth OITC online Toastmasters meeting. I'll be taking up the role of SA today. Glad to see a lot of faces in our new meeting in schedule and hope we'll continue in the weeks to come as well. And so between May 8, today's meeting, and May 15, our next weekly Toastmasters meeting, do you think any special day falls on?
Mother's Day? Sunday?
Yeah, who's that?
Soumya?
So yes, it's Mother's Day. And I got to know today that Friday before every Mother's Day will be celebrated as Child Care Providers Day. In a way, we could take it as Teachers' Day of young children, for young kiddos. As the Sanskrit phrase goes, Mada Pida Guru Devam, where mom stands always first. I would like to start this Toastmasters meeting by thanking our moms for what they have been doing to us till now and what will they continue to do in the future. Having said that, I would like to lay the ground rules for the meeting today. Until your turn comes to speak, please be on mute. Please avoid from speaking on topics like about sex, religion, and politics. And applaud after the speech and make sure your applaud is right before the camera so that the speaker acknowledges it. Thanks, and handing over to Presiding Officer Abhijit Kaul. Oh, thank you.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. In 1800s, the world started transforming into a very different place. The Industrial Revolution had triggered three different aspects that were going to be very critical for human civilization for the generations to come. First, rapid urbanization and access to better living conditions. Number two, the rise of capitalism and obsession for profit making. And number three, depletion of resources and mass pollution of Earth. Well, all through the next 2 centuries, first the environmentalists and eventually the larger mankind started wondering, could we ever put this to end? Could we ever halt this and maybe even temporarily pause it, just to reverse this crazy obsession and march of humankind towards doom? Fast forward March 2020, around 3 months into the COVID-19 pandemic that just rocked the world at one time, unimaginable things started happening. People started seeing Himalayas from far off places. Pollution levels in the most polluted places of the world suddenly started coming down like anything. And the satellite data was just testament to that. The animals started reverse invasion to gather back, to take back the land that we actually snatched from them. And finally, the outer ring road became empty. Well, I think someone definitely had an epiphany in suggesting that amidst all this chaos, all this doom, there is a silver lining. The much needed pause that we needed to change this earth, hopefully for good, and let it heal as we gather, come back into our normal lives. In today's session, I hope all of us have some interesting realizations that truly motivate us and keep us marching towards our silver lining in Toastmasters and in our lives. For now, to move the session into the second gear, let me welcome the Toastmaster of the day, who is going to run this session for the next few minutes and all the sessions that are going to come after that. Please join me in welcoming the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sumedh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. It was about 7:45 in the morning and I was completely ready. I was ready to make a new day count. I was ready. It was an adventurous day. I thought to myself, I had my breakfast this early in the morning. I have never done it before, so must be a start of something good. I don't know. It was that day wherein I was so zealous. And so I just jumped out of my bed, got ready, got dressed, and started walking towards the office. I had a plan in mind. I had to get done with my project today. I wanted to take some rest. I wanted to go play FIFA with my friends. Something about that day was striking. My pants did not feel as heavy as they usually do. I had that jump while I was walking across. I just felt that this was the right day to be. And so I walked from my PG to the office until I reached the EcoSpace Skywalk. That's when I realized that something about this was too fishy. How could my pants be this light? I thought to myself. And I tried putting my hand into my pocket. It was a seamless transition from getting your hands across into the pocket, which did not make much sense because there had to be some other obstructions to this. It is at that moment it struck me that I had forgotten not only my ID card, but my purse. And the day, let me just say this, it was the longest day I had to survive that day. So the moment it just struck, there is an internal realization which went along that the state of mind is somehow connected to the weight of your jeans, right? That is what I learned from this. These are just some examples of what we see every day, what we realize every day upon. This is one thing I'm sure most of us have experienced at least once in our life, wherein things are really going good and then suddenly something happens which changes the viewpoint of what has been going on, and then you don't feel so good anymore. Or it's the other way around, wherein you start feeling good while nothing has absolutely changed. Which begs the question, is it actually the world which is the way it is, or is it a viewpoint? I'll leave you with the thought, but before I go, I'd like to introduce my next speaker, who is the general evaluator for today. This person told me a very interesting story of how there was one moment of realization for him. He was actually hiking with his friends in Boulder, Colorado, and it was nightfall, and they were climbing up to a hill to see the sunrise, like most of the hikers do. And they started hearing some funny sounds across, but they ignored all those sounds, and they decided to go for the peak, and they did. While after reaching the peak, they were discussing stuff, generic stuff, which people discuss after reaching the top and waiting for the sun to rise. And they realized that there were mountain lions which were seen across that place. And at that moment, they realized that those sounds might have been these lions. At that very moment, all the friends and the speaker who is going to speak next channeled their inner Usain Bolts and ran for their lives. Please welcome the general evaluator for today, Abhijit Kaul.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sumedh. Well, if nobody told you, let me tell you today, epiphanies take much longer to come to you when you're drunk. And especially when you are making that hike at 2 a.m. with a group of friends, the epiphanies do take much longer. Thankfully, it was still in time for us to not being eaten by the mountain lion. Moving on, talking about my role as GE today. Well, GE is in my opinion, the chief environmentalist for the Toastmaster sessions. You see, as much as we strive, whenever we strive to make some progress, as much as we want to might have nice intentions as citizens or as speakers, we do pollute the environment knowingly or unknowingly. In Toastmasters, that's about how you give your speeches, how you plan the speeches, and how you plan your and how you orchestrate the whole session. As the GE today, I will be keeping a record of all the activities, the proceedings of the meeting, as well as the different speeches. At the end of it all, I will come back and present a report. And I will try to present some clear thoughts that I hope will trigger some epiphanies, which can help you incorporate the feedback much better. Now, of course, to make my job much better, I need to have a larger team. To expand the eyes and ears involved in giving a highly qualified feedback, I would like to introduce my team, the GE team that is going to help you today. The first member of my team is the timer. Before I introduce you who the timer is, let me tell you a bit about the timer. When he was small, around 5-6 years old, he wouldn't watch many movies, but he remembered one movie that he saw with a lot of intent, and that was a movie called Border, a Hindi movie. Some of you might know or might have seen that. So at that time, he had absolutely no idea that movies were not real. Well, a very, very innocent mistake, I would say. So when Sunil Shetty, who happens to be one of the protagonists, sacrificed his life for his country, he was heartbroken and he was really sad. It was only sometime later that he just saw one more movie of his that he could just put two of two together and realize, well, his prior assumption was probably not right. Let's see how he talks, what he tells us about how we need to maintain the timing today. Let's welcome the timer for today, Toastmaster Hind.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and good evening to all the Toastmasters. I don't know when children understand that movies are unreal, but for me, I think it came a little late, and Sunil Shetty brought it to me. Today, my role will be off the timer, and let's hope that all of us don't have the epiphany of time passing while we are delivering our speeches. That's not an epiphany that we would want. To help you with realizing what time you are at in your speech, I will be notifying you at the qualifying time, the middle time, and then the threshold time, let's call it. Basically the green time, yellow time, and red time. Ideally, the speech should not be less than green time and the speech should not be more than red time. So for table topics, those timings will be 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, and 2 minutes. For the speech, for our speech today, which will be given by Toastmaster Anupam, the timings will be 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and 7 minutes. For evaluations, those will be 2, 2.5, and 3 minutes, and same applies for all the evaluators as well. To show the passing, or basically to identify the time mark, whether we are at green, red, or yellow, I'll be using this Rubik's Cube. So when we are at green, I'll be showing this. When we are at yellow, I'll be showing this. When we are at red, I'll be showing this. Please do look at my screen whenever you are speaking. And that is about it from my side. Back to the General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hind, for such a creative way of putting across the timing cards. I hope all of us will look at it and stay in time today. Moving forward, the second member of my GE team, he is the main person who is going to help us stop polluting our environment during this 1 hour. Make sure all those unnecessary, unneeded words are in check. When this person was asked about share some experience when you had an epiphany, some interesting thing about his life, he had just one line, very simple. He said, an epiphany moment happened in his life when his sister was born, and the rest of details will come later sometime in the meeting. So, well, you can start your creative energies and figure out what could that be, or you can just hear directly from him. Let's welcome the AhCounter for today, Toastmaster Gurunath.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit, for this wonderful introduction. Yes, to be honest, I don't know what this word epiphany is. So this is the first time that I'm hearing this word. But I could think of like epiphany would be something like epi plus funny. So the epiphany moment which I mentioned was something related to my sister was born. So it was when I was a 3-year-old kid. I got to know that from my parents that I'll be getting a sister to my home. The reason because why I say it is epic fun plus funny. See, whatever the belongings that I have, I had to share with my sister. So that will be a heartbreaking moment for me. And yeah, I would consider this as epiphany moment. Not a surprise moment, but yeah, it is kind of a basic analogy wherein you say there is bit of epic, but more of a funny moment. Yeah, describing about my role, today I'll be handling a AhCounter role wherein I'll be monitoring all your CRPF words. CRPF as in crutch words like and repetitive words as in and you repeat with the one word multiple times. And also the pause fillers. Let's say you have a long pause in your speech. And the filler words as in and, you know, so, well. So these are the CRPF words, and I will be giving my report at the end of the speech. So over to Toastmaster Abhijit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gurunath. The next role that I have in my jury or in my GE team is a very important one. This role actually helps us to ensure that we don't restrict ourselves to a certain minimum standard in terms of how we communicate. The bar to communicate better and effectively just keeps on getting higher whenever he takes up this role. Let me tell a bit about his epiphany moment or epiphanous moment before introducing it to him. When he was in college, he suddenly looked around and saw all of his friends were making career choices citing epiphany. And that was the time that he realized it was perfectly normal to not have any. So this is the time when he had the epiphany moment and he realized that he just didn't have any plans per se. So let me call upon and join me in welcoming the grammarian for today, Toastmaster Ram.
Thank you. Thanks, Toastmaster Abhijit. Today I'm going to play the role of the Toastmaster, the grammarian. Few things only, just to keep things simple. We'll try and find sentences, word choices, expressions that people are using in wrong ways, and promote the usage of the word of the day. From the word of the day perspective, the word that we're going to use is a very special word. See if you can spot and say what is special about it. The word is eunoia, E-U-N-O-I-A. I'll type that in a moment. Some people, because it has a Greek background, call that as eunoia, but I'll stay simpler pronunciation and say eunoia. Can anyone guess what is special about it? The spelling is again what you see on the chat window, E-U-N-O-I-A. It means, while you're thinking about it, it means general goodwill and benevolence towards everybody. So in these tough times, if a country can be eunoic to other countries, that's a great thing. A better, more polished statement would be, eunoia is not only an aim, but also a means for accomplishment of other good purposes. So while I've been talking, did you do any thinking? And can you say what is special about this word?
Has all the vowels.
It is the shortest word in English with all vowels. Thanks, Arjun. You're well on your way to making sure that you're going to have a very epiphanous moment, lots of epiphanous moments in this meeting, rest of this meeting. Thank you. Over to Toastmaster Abhijit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ram, for a great introduction of the grammarian role, as well as letting everybody know what to expect. I hope you will have, we will showcase some eunoia when you create that report at the end and be kind to all of us. Moving on, let's get back to the session and start with the presentation time. And for that, let me welcome back on the center stage or the focus point of focus, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sumedh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. Thank you, all the tag members. I value all the inputs that you people give around. But more importantly, I would like to introduce the next speaker, That is the evaluator for the the only speech that we have for this meet. The evaluator, when I asked her for an introduction, for an moment of epiphany that she had, she told me that to know that your teacher mother was not a topper once is the biggest moral booster for any child. This is quote unquote from her. And I think this is the most apt introduction she can ever give for herself. To talk about what the speech is expected to look like, I would call upon now Toastmaster Akshaya, the evaluator for today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sumedh. So today's speech, which is going to be presented by Anupam, is a L2 P3 speech. So since this is at a higher level or advanced level, which is kind of new to the club members, let me take a minute to introduce what can we expect from this. So this speech, it clearly is a look back on Toastmasters mentoring. So it is expected that this speaker has gone through a series of mentoring sessions in their first level, and this speech is going to be a look back onto that mentoring which they have had. So this speech expects the speaker to recount their experiences as a student or as a disciple or as a trainee, whatsoever that we may like to call it. And this need not be with respect to Toastmasters. It can be any account from their life as a student or as a learner. So that is the expectation of today. So as an evaluator, I would be just looking for common points where I can share my set of experiences with Anupam today, having been a student, because when you have a teacher mother, you are a student for life, and that applies to all of us. So with that, I would just not want to waste a lot of time. I just want to recollect one incident from my childhood when I was learning tenses from my mother, and she asked me one question: Akshaya, when I say I am beautiful, what tense does that mean? I said past tense, and I think it applies even today. So that is, so this is, I would just like to leave it at a lighter note and wish Anupam all the best. And that's it from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster Sumedh. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshaya. So when we reached out to the next speaker and asked him what was that moment of epiphany that he had gone through in his life, the one thing that we got back as a response was that in his first year of college, he had a moment, most probably in the physics class, wherein he kind of rediscovered what relativity means. He understood that nothing is absolute in life and everything is relative. Every thought that he has ever had is relative to the previous thought he had for the same subject before. This looks pretty philosophical, pretty complicated. This would be that way only until you listen to what the title of the speech is. The title of the speech is Above and Beyond, Stubborn and Strong. Toastmaster Anupam. Toastmaster Anupam, Above and Beyond, Stubborn and Strong. I hand over the stage to him.
Thank you for that introduction, Toastmaster Sumedh. Now, all right. Am I audible? Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Yes.
All right. I'm letting go. My dad said. I pleaded my dad not to let go. He was letting go of my cycle, and I was about to fall, and I fell. I looked indignantly at my dad, and I said, "Why did you leave me? I can't do this without you. You removed the training wheels of my cycle." My dad sighed, and he said, "Okay, let me try it again." He took his lungi, he folded it up and sat on my cycle. Imagine that, a grown man sitting on a small, tiny cycle, trying to adjust his lungi so that it doesn't fly away. That was a very funny situation, right? So I started laughing, and my dad got distracted while he was trying to teach me how to cycle. Eventually, I did learn to cycle. And when I look back, so many people have gone the extra mile for me to help teach me what the things in life are. Every small thing that they have taught me has made me what I am, and I can stand up for myself. I can go out into the world and I can be free and I can be anything and do anything I want. All my parents, all that my parents have done, my brother has done for me, my teachers, my friends, my seniors in my drama club, the people back in Toastmasters, Amrita Bangalore, everyone has contributed every single thing that has made me who I am today. And I would like to take a moment to thank them for that as well. So when I come to think about it, there are two experiences which I want to talk about. One in my drama club back in college and one in my Toastmasters journey. Coming to the drama part, I wanted to experience the acting side of things after binge watching Friends thrice during my IIT coaching training thing. And when I came into first year and I came into Amrita, I just wanted to get into the drama side of things and I just wanted to be that actor. But I was disappointed. I did not feel that I was a very good actor. I did not know how to be a good actor. But then my seniors came in. There was this particular incident where I had to cry and I couldn't. I just couldn't get into the fields. And then the senior said to me, you can do it. Just get into the nuances of how that person is feeling in that moment. Put yourself into his shoes, and then you can imagine how you are, how you are that person. And then, believe it or not, I started crying, and ever since that day, I've been able to cry at the drop of a bucket. And I never knew I could be so happy being able to cry like that, because it's some surreal experience being another person, experiencing what that person might experience hypothetically. And I really wanted to thank the senior for this later on, but unfortunately he passed away and I couldn't ever thank him for that. This was back in 2017, and that was also the year when Toastmasters Amrita Bangalore was founded by our president, first president Sanjay. You might have heard of him, maybe. So that man, he's amazing again. He has taken every effort that he can to set up the club in college, and I cannot imagine the amount of effort that he has put in for that. And one day when he came up to me and said, do you want to join the club? I immediately signed up. I did not think of anything else, because one day I could see myself becoming that motivational, inspiring kind of a speaker, and I wanted to be there. I just wanted to inspire and motivate some other person. I wanted to be that person who could give the same experiences as all these people had given me. I wanted to be there for them. So I took up the membership, and then I started taking up roles as well. And one day Sanjay again asked me, do you want to take up a role in the XCOM? And I immediately jumped at it, because it gave me a chance to be that person. Then I remember all the discussions we had with Sanjay and with the other people in my XCOM, where I can recapitulate all the things that we were brainstorming about how to improve the club. And I just can't forget those experiences, because those experiences built up all my love for the club that I have right now. Sanjay always shown the path for us. He lit a light for us to see the path whenever we were lost, and he made sure that we were able to shine by ourselves and light our own paths. Personally, in Toastmasters as well, I've only taken up roles, and I became quite a good evaluator in that side of things. But when I came to the speeches part, I never really took up speech slots. It took me 3 years, believe it or not, to give my first icebreaker. And that was because a junior pushed me to take up that role. And the first time I chickened out. Encouraging that, I just took up the slot next time and I gave my icebreaker. And I would say every club member in the club right now, either past or old, junior or senior, no demarcation of any sort, they have contributed, they have lit that fire in me, and I won't let that fire die down, because it's somewhat like an eternal fire which can keep burning and burning. And I owe every single member in that club, because I've seen them do their own little efforts, and that has inspired me to make my own efforts. And I can only keep going forward and forward and never back down. And I can promise them that even I will be there for them whenever they need me, and I will be there throughout always, and I will support them above and beyond, stubborn and strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anupam. That was a very insightful speech. I also experienced a little bit of what Toastmaster Anupam was referring to. Sanjay was really uh, really the actual Toastmaster in the college. He used to bring out the best out of us. Something similar to what I've experienced here. So it is basically the creed of these people that help us along, and that is what I think Toastmaster Anupam was trying to bring out. Moving further along, uh, the next speaker for today would be the table topic speaker. We are now done with the prepared speeches, and now we'll be moving on to the table topics table topic sessions. The table topic master for today told me the moment she has epiphany, and this is pretty regular it seems with her, that every time she speaks to her manager, that is the moment she actually gets something, that realization hit into her. And to further elucidate and elaborate on that, I would like to call upon Supriya, who is the table topics master of the Toastmaster Supriya.
Thank you, Sumedh. Like Sumedh mentioned, not just once, I've had these moments of epiphany, and most of them were during my one-on-ones or other technical discussions with my manager. When I'm stuck with something, before talking to him, I feel that I was assiduous at my task, and there is nothing else that me or someone else could have done to fix that issue. But after talking to my manager, within seconds, I just realized that there are so many other things that I should have done before giving up. Yeah, I have had so many moments of epiphany. So now moving on, as the TMoD mentioned, I am the table topic master for the session. Each speaker will get 1 to 2 minutes to talk. So the segment is as follows. I have come up with a list of objects that we regularly use, and I want you guys to talk about what these objects would say if they get a chance to talk. Is that clear? All right. Can I have a volunteer? Anybody? First one will get an easy topic, maybe. Very good, Shreya.
Please do not put me under the bus, okay?
That's fine. Yeah. Because I promised an easy topic, I would give you mirror.
Mirror?
Yeah.
Okay. As a mirror, I think my job is both the best job in the world as well as the worst job in the world. As you know, everyone wants to look good. I wish I could give that to everyone. I really do. If it was in me, I would make everyone look so beautiful, but I cannot. I try very hard, but I have to show the reality to people. Some people who are very pretty, look, they feel so good looking at me that it makes my day, you know, I'm just so excited. And I want them to keep coming to me, keep coming and looking at themselves. And then there are these some others who I wish would still be happy with what they saw, but it never happens. Every time they see, they feel bad. And that makes me feel really bad too. And then they try another 100 things standing in front of me. And sometimes I just feel like, it's okay, man. Give up. It's okay. 100 layers of makeup, 100 different angles of taking photos and looking at themselves through me. It's not worth it, guys. It's fine. Life is good. So be happy just like I am. Look at me in the way that you would like to look at yourself someday in the future happily. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. That was a message-filled 1 minute. Any more volunteers? The next one, please. Any of the guests would like to volunteer? Okay. Arjun, do you want to go first, and then I'll come back to Anupam. Can you select a number between 1 and 10?
5.
5. Okay. Jogging shoes. You get jogging shoes.
So, being a jogging shoe, I can only come in one size. So when you buy me, you have to make sure that I fit you well, because I'm going to be your companion for the rest of your, let's say, running career. And I'm pretty sure you will make good use of me, because I'll be the one keeping you fit. And I'll make sure that your sole does not hurt, your running sole, when you run for long durations, whether it's a marathon or whether you want to run for short durations when it's a sprint. Being a shoe, I may be branded or maybe not, but that doesn't mean that you look at my brand and buy. So as of now, I'm not gonna claim my brand, but let me tell you one thing, that Adidas is not that great. Running shoes, well, they have a very short lifespan. So I expect to live for the next 2 or 3 years, but those 2 or 3 years would be years of joy. And I hope that you have the epiphany when you break a lot of records and realize that I was pretty crucial for you. So with that, thank you. Hope you buy me only 5 feet.
Thank you, Arjun. That was informative. Anupam, do you want to? Okay, can you select a number between 1 and 9?
7.
7. You get laptop charger.
I am twisted, but I'm useful. I have this energy in me, but only when you put me in the socket and switch on the power. I am twisted, but that doesn't mean I am bad. I may be bad, but only when I fray and I don't charge your laptop anymore. I am the lifeline. I am the thread which ties your laptop to the wall. I can kill your laptop if you step over me. And if you're an Apple Mac or something, then you are safe, of course, because magnetic charging charging attachment, I would say, I guess. So I can come in all shapes and sizes, but not the shape or the size you want. I will always be inconvenient for you, and I will always make life hell for you, because that's my job. Even though I do charge your laptop and save your laptop for, your work that you have to do. And sometimes you will just plug me in and you will forget to switch me on. So I will not be charging your laptop in the meantime, and that's your mistake. That's on you. Please don't blame me. And back to you, Toastmaster Supriya.
Thank you, Anupam. Hind, do we still have time? Okay. Can we have another volunteer? Bhargav, Ashwin, Soumya, Saurabh, anybody please.
I'll come forward.
Thank you, Ashwin. Okay. Okay, and can you pick a number between 1 and 8?
4.
You get treadmill.
Treadmill, okay. It doesn't matter if you're 10 kgs, it doesn't matter if you're 50 kgs, it doesn't matter if you're 100 kgs. You will always come to me no matter what. It doesn't matter if you're Usain Bolt, it doesn't matter if you're Nita Ambani or Mukesh Ambani. You will always come to me. And the only job I have is to keep you in one place while you're running. And I'm sure no matter how much you run, no matter how fast you run, you will always stay in one place. And that's my job. And I have 100% success rate also at my job. I don't think any Lean Six Sigma company will ever reject me at my job. And that's why I am called as the treadmill. And this treadmill is not just for people, it's not just for kids, it's not just for anyone. You can even put your dog on it, you can even put your cat on it, and it will always jump and you'll always enjoy. And one more thing is I come with a lot of perks. For example, I can tell you your heart rate. You can run 400 meters and get and stand in the same place on the whole day. People tell cycling is good. You know what? Who wants to carry that big old machine everywhere? Just get a treadmill, no? And what else can I say about myself as a treadmill? Well, a treadmill is something that is always for all the sportsmen around here. And I'm sure a healthy sportsman will have a healthy body. A healthy body will mean a healthy mind. A healthy mind will mean a healthy life. So that's it from my side. Let's all use the treadmill and be healthy. Over to the table topics master.
Thank you, Ashwin. We'll all try to get a treadmill now. Okay. One more. Guys, any volunteers? Please.
Just pick someone.
Bhargav? You're on mute. A number between 1 and 7. Bhargav, do you want to pick a number between 1 and 7?
1.
Okay, sorry. Refrigerator.
Okay. Refrigerator. As a refrigerator, my life is somewhat like really nice sometimes because really tasty food in me. Though I can't eat it. I mean, people would get suspicious because, and then you also put, stinky and, bad and undercooked food in me as well. That is also a bad side of it. Sometimes I've seen people, craving for food. They wake up like at 2 a.m. in the morning or like at night, midnight, you could say. And then they just come and sneak into the kitchen and open me. And then, they have that lust in them that they want to have something, something without, other people in the house knowing. So I see different kinds of people. I see small kids, I think the first time they open, I don't even know if they open other doors as well, but they just, first time I think they open these refrigerator doors to get their favorite chocolates and all. I see the smile in their faces when they, open my door and look at the chocolates. Also, if it is like pretty hot outside and you're from a middle class and you can't afford a refrigerator, you can put, your face or, your, you can put your face in me and, feel that, and feel as if you're in OT or something. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And people generally throw, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Bhargav. Hind already told that we don't have time, so if I call one more, he might hit me. I just pasted the link, the voting link in the chat window. So I request all of you to please go vote for your favorite table topic speaker. After which I request the TMoD Sumedh to take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Supriya. One thing, while I was listening to all these table topic sessions, I realized that I think Toastmaster Supriya did something that not many people have done properly before. That is, she has made us okay with objectifying other human beings. And kudos maxima there, I guess. So moving on, all of us have spoken. Well, almost all of us have spoken. But did we speak well? We need to do some reflective analysis on that. And to help us do that, let me call on stage, or the center stage, the evaluators for today. I'll bring in the general evaluator to let us know how this meeting went on and any feedback suggestions that he has. Toastmaster Abhijit, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sumedh. Let's move on and figure out how we did as a session today. But first I'll be the conductor and call in other members of my team to present their evaluations, and finally I'll join the troop and give some feedback on my own side. To let us know how we did on the timing, let's welcome the timer for today, Toastmaster Hind, to give us the timer report.
Good evening once again, everybody. We, as has been the usual case lately, we started the meeting 6 minutes late. The presiding officer took a little more than 2 minutes. I think it is high time that we increase the timing of presiding officer's introductory remarks. The TMoD, for most part, in fact, for throughout every session of his appearance as a speaking member in the meeting, he stuck within much within the time. That was great, but I would encourage the TMoD to milk the time and not be miser about it. It's yours. The speaker took 7 minutes and 3 seconds, absolutely on time. One thing that I would really like to comment about the speaker is that his speech was divided into introduction, the first story, the second story, and the conclusion in a very, and I hope it is intentional, and even if it was not intentional, I guess it is very subconscious. It speaks to your subconscious a lot. The introduction was 2 minutes, the first story was 2 minutes, the second story was 2 minutes, and the conclusion was 1 minute. So the division of the whole speech was really great on his part. The table topic speakers, we had 5 table topic speakers today. Nobody took more than 1 minute 50 seconds, and the prize of taking the most time goes to Bhargav. Thank you, Bhargav, for being on the stage and speaking your heart out, I guess. But table topic speakers, do once again try to milk the time, milk your opportunity, and not be miser about it, because that time also belongs to you. That reminds me, we haven't heard from the evaluator yet. So let's hope she also sticks to the time, and we stick to the meeting. We stick within our timing limits. That's all from my side. Back to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hind. Well, I hope I can discount Hind as somebody who might have got the same epiphany 5 seconds into when he started speaking, which is, I forgot the first evaluator. Clearly, Hind didn't have that epiphany until very late, and you are not drunk, so I guess there's some other reason to it, maybe the hackathon. Well, let's call upon the Toastmaster Akshaya, who was the evaluator for the first speech today, or the only speech from today from Toastmaster Anupam, and let's hear from her how the speech went. Toastmaster Akshaya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. So first of all, I would like to acknowledge the fact that Anupam's speech was a stir of nostalgia, drama club, Toastmasters, Rahul, Sanjay. So with a tinge of nostalgia, let me just look back on how things went today. So first of all, it kind of appeared to me that you had a mental script and not a prepared script. You just walked through the events which you were thinking in your head, and it all fell in place. So what I really liked about the speech was it was a tad bit simple and relatable. And one more thing which I felt which was very striking was everyone could relate to what you were saying. You did not use fancy vocabulary. You were very simple on the point, and it was almost relatable and very, very emotional throughout. So most of the things that you said came straight from the heart, and it was very, very evident. And that is what I believe was one of the biggest strengths of your speech today, that it was emotional and it was simple and understandable at the same time. And the other thing which I liked about your speech was the end was a wham bam end. Like you built up the story, and then in the end you concluded the story with your title. And I kind of like these speeches which end with a title. I call them wham bam end, and I felt today's speech had a wham bam end. And one more thing which I liked about the speech was it had a journey right from your school, and then you went to college, and then you went to the third year of college. So it was almost like a compilation of events, and you took us from part 1 to part 2 to part 3. And as Hind said, you spent considerable time on every event, and it was equally divided among the events that you said. On the other hand, every coin has two faces. So going to the things that you can improve, I would call them TT: tonality and tenacity. As a speaker, I felt like the tone of the speech was a rather bit flat throughout. So in case if you had stressed on certain things that you felt were very emotional and that can connect with the audience, I felt the speech would have had a better reception than what it has already got. And the other thing I felt, as a speaker, you lacked a bit of a tenacity to hold your audience by peppering the speech with events that we can relate to. Some parts of the speech looked like they were lines from a gratitude speech or from a thank you or a acceptance speech. I felt like they could have been bolstered a bit with events or with daunting expressions that we can relate to. So we would like, as audience, we would like to be left with some takeaways from a speech. And I felt like the speech lacked such events a bit. Maybe it could have been an event or an experience or a conversation or some kind of drama which could have been which you could have thrown in to show that to leave the audience with something. So I feel like the speech lacked a bit of tenacity to keep the audience together. So in conclusion, I felt like it was a very relatable and a completely well received speech. You had amazing audience. You had an amazing set, like ball of confidence that with which you carried yourself throughout. And I wish you all the best. So to challenge yourself, I would like you to try a very dramatic speech where it requires you to change your tone from A to B to C, and it really requires you to keep the audience together. So that would be my feedback for you from today. Thank you so much. And with that, I pass the Ravi to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshaya. That was an amazing evaluation, very, very thorough. And I think everybody got to hear a lot of very strong analytical points there. And hopefully our speaker for today, Toastmaster Anupam, can take that feedback and work towards even higher success with more speeches in the future. One thing I would like to just add quickly without taking too much time, this is a medium which has the power to connect us, but at the same time disconnect us, because we are not really facing our audience, we're not seeing in front of them. So one thing that you can really use more as much as possible is hand gestures and voice modulation, especially when you are already progressing towards a very advanced journey, advanced side of your overall pathway. So maybe you can incorporate more of that in your speeches. But overall, a great speech. Thank you for coming here today, or joining here today rather, and sharing that speech with us. Moving forward, did we clean the environment with a lot of pauses, or did we just litter with a lot of unneeded words? Let us hear from the AhCounter in his report. Please welcome Toastmaster Gurunath.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. Firstly, I would like to congratulate today's speaker Anupam for his wonderful speech with no crutch words at all. So, but if in the spite of handling this crutch word, right, you are end up having a pause in between the words. So I think you would need to work upon the pause wherever it is required, not in the middle of the sentence. So that is one thing I noticed. But yeah, it was very good speech. And one thing I noticed was you started with the speech with very good content, but going forward after, let's say, for 4 to 5 minutes, we started having the filler words, because I'm not sure whether you are lack of words or you are not having any content to go further, or you forgot something. So that would actually ended up having a filler words, and also many pauses in between. So that is one thing you need to work upon. And the rest of the speakers, Toastmaster of the day actually had many crutch words used, but yeah, I would congratulate you for not using any pauses or filler words. But you need to handle with the crutch words. And for the major speakers were the table topic speakers were having very less crutch words. However, most of the speakers have used most of the filler words like so and well. So if you guys work, because these words will end up in avoiding crutch words. You started filling with filler words or having a pauses. So as an overall AhCounter, as an overall CRP of right, so everything matters for a good speech. And yeah, I would encourage everyone to actually look onto this. And if you need any further detailed report, you can actually reach out to me so that I can share you the numbers, exact numbers, how much CRP of words that you have used in your speech. Yeah, over to Toastmaster Abhijit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gurunath. Let's quickly go to Toastmaster Ram, who's the grammarian for today. I don't think there is any prize for guessing how many of us use the word of the day, but let me allow him to express his disappointment while giving the feedback for the grammarian of the day. Please welcome Toastmaster Ram.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. Yes, it was disappointing that nobody felt any kind of, towards others and did not really use this word. So having said that, let's move on. Again, my role today is to be critical and point towards usage of grammar. I'll go and do that. I won't sugarcoat things. Hind, Toastmaster Hind, I'll appreciate it if you'll give me 3 minutes for each side of the cube that you have, because I have noted quite a few things down. But since that won't happen, I'll try and stick to just a few things and run through a few highlights that I made notes of. Don't feel disappointed if I don't call everyone's names. It's with a good intent. Maybe that little bit of, that I can show everybody. I'm going to go in randomly. Toastmaster Guru. Some of the things I've noticed, you tend to use one thing a lot to start off your sentence, but you end up with many things. So then it becomes accountable when you're starting with this one thing I want to tell you, and you'll tell 5 or 6. Go ahead and replace that instead of one with some. There's several places where that happens. Toastmaster Sumedh. Usage of a, the general article, was not well done. Many times you said I wanted to take some rest. Maybe you want to say I want to get some rest, or I want to rest. You said I was carrying my purse. Usually it's a wallet, unless you're carrying a man purse. First evaluator, Akshaya. Several times you said, so that is the expectation of the day or expectation of today. You want to refer to a subject, expectation from a person, expectation of a theme rather than from the day. You also had some expressions where you had mismatched tenses. Many times what I like is, that's the present tense, and then you go off and say what you did was. What I like is that you did this well yesterday, type of things. Toastmaster Abhijit. All of the prepared speech was perfect. I couldn't spot anything. In a few places when more colloquialism was used, I see Toastmaster Hind giving me the 6 greens. So when you were referring to Toastmaster Hind, you said when he was small instead of when he was young. Toastmaster Ashwin, when you started off with the treadmill, you spoke about if you're 50 kilograms or 60 kilograms, you're really qualifying the weight of a person. So if you said, if you weighed 50 kilograms or 100 kilograms instead, if you are 50 or 100. You also changed from third person to first person several times. Sometimes you were taking I am the treadmill. Sometimes you said this treadmill. Watch that. Since Toastmaster Hind is hiding behind the yellow cube, I'm going to hold off at this time. Maybe I'll make a summary and share that so that other people can look at this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ram, for spotting very, very interesting points and with some examples which are always helpful. So thanks for doing that. I will quickly give my report. I think we all know we started late, around 4 or 4 p.m. because we had hard time gathering some of our participants. So all the role takers, please try to be here by like a minute or two before the meeting begins so that we can begin on time. That's first thing. Coming to specific individuals, the TMoD of the day, strong organization of the overall session. You had command over what you wanted to do, and you were able to kind of drive the session with a lot of enthusiasm. So great job in doing that. Grammarian, Ram, again, innovative word of the day and spot almost like amazing analysis at the end. So great job on that. I think all of us, the democracy says that the hard to pronounce words are hard to remember probably. So maybe we can keep that in mind whenever somebody takes up the grammarian role next. First evaluator, Akshaya, I think there were a lot of really good points about your speech, about your evaluation, as I already mentioned. But because you had so much content, it seemed very rushed. And I think you were aware of it from the beginning that you are going to be really at the edge in terms of being able to complete. So I would suggest to cut down a point or two and make it more effective by pausing, because a lot of feedback, which also comes at a very high pace, sometimes it's very overwhelming for the speaker. So I think you can probably work on that aspect to give a little less content in your evaluation, but make it more effective. And Toastmaster, table topic master Supriya, very nice concept. I think the objects you used and the concept you used, first of all, the concept was very good, and the objects you picked, role playing that wasn't very easy, but also not very hard. So I think it gave a fair amount of time as well as opportunity for everybody to participate. And I think it was fun to see all of us, all of the people coming up with really great usage of their time there. In terms of table topic speaker, I just have one thing to say. Shreya, great usage of voice modulation and gestures. And I think that's again something that I feel we can do much more of in this not just in Toastmaster in general, but specifically because we're online. So I think it goes a long way to help everybody. Overall, a great session. The theme was really nice. I think we see much better participation here from everybody in playing their role and giving full justice to that. So great job in doing that. That's all from my side. Passing back to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Sumedh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. Until about 10 seconds ago, I was really happy with the way things were going and stuff and the other thing. But then I just realized that we are done here. And that epiphany just caused a little bit of sadness. But hey, we can still take a minute and vote for the best speeches. I think Hind has already pasted the link below. So take a minute, please go ahead, vote, and after 1 minute, we'll commence back again.
Also, with 14 people on the call, I see 12 responses on the best table topic speaker voting link. So whoever those two people are, please vote. And if they are the speakers themselves, feel free to vote for yourself. There is no crime.
All right. Hind, did everyone actually send that? Okay, sure. Uh, all right. So I have the results for today's meet. The best speaker was Supriya. So congrats, Supriya.
Thank you.
The best evaluator was Ram. So congratulations. And the best table topic speaker was Ashwin. So congratulations to you, Ashwin. Right. With that, I would like to say that's a wrap. Right. So this was fun to do, and I'm sure. Well, I hope it was fun to attend to. And with that, I would like to pass on the stage to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Abhijit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sumedh. Well, to close the meeting for today, I'll start with the feedback. First of all, a couple of people to say thank you to. Thank you, Toastmaster Ashwin, for joining us today again. You've been here pretty frequently to help us kind of make a full house and participate as well. So thanks for doing that. Similarly, Toastmaster Soumya, you've been a frequent participant as well as our mentor, and otherwise being there to just support us. Thanks for being there as well. And finally, Toastmaster Anupam. Well, we are always looking for speakers, and I heard from your club that you're always looking for venues to speak as a club. So I guess it sounds like a long-term relationship until all of us start speaking more and giving more speeches. But thank you for coming over here and giving us your wonderful speech. Do you have any feedback, any thoughts from the session that you gathered today?
It was a very wonderful session. Like, it was fun, and I took a lot of I saw a lot of takebacks that I can take from the meeting that happened. And the Grammarian was just awesome for today, and hats off to you, sir. And I think I have a lot to learn from that as well. And Akshaya, that was a very concise evaluation, and it was quite a lot. So I have a lot of feedback that I can work on. So thank you for that as well. And everyone has been very energetic and cheerful. So that's another part which I enjoyed. So thank you for that.
We'll definitely love to have hear more from you by joining us meetings more often. So you're more than welcome whenever you want to join in. All right, feedback from all of you. How is this timing? 4 o'clock Friday. Does that sound like a great time? Okay, all right. Looks like after changing around for quite a bit, we might settle down on this one. We also have Toastmaster Saurabh here, actually, who just put in his message and reminded me that he's also here, another guest. Toastmaster Saurabh, do you want to speak up and let us know a bit about yourself and if you have any feedback to share?
I'm also from Toastmasters Bangalore. And when I heard that Toastmaster Anupam was also going to be speaking, I was motivated to come and support him as well, because I also play the role of his mentor as well. So it would be nice to see his progress. And yeah, I always wanted to come to this club and see how you guys were doing. And it was an amazing session. I gave all my comments in the chat. Thanks a lot. Looking forward to coming.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saurabh. All right. As a non-native speaker, I would always wonder, how can I become an effective speaker and presenter? I always admired Barack Obama for his oratory brilliance, and I was just always used to wonder, will I ever even come closer to being that effective in any speech or any presentations that I give? With that thought in mind, I joined Toastmasters, and I thought everything will change for good, but it didn't. I was really getting irritated by the frequent calls that I would get from the VP Ed and the mentor to take up roles. This was like just when I joined Toastmasters. Sometimes I took those roles up willingly. Sometimes I took those up with some bitterness. Well, a year into Toastmasters, I was chosen as the president of the club. And I also won my first ever evaluations contest at club level. And that point of time, I had an epiphany. What made me come this far? Really, what happened, right? Well, as I thought a bit more, I realized that my continuous and unwitting investment into Toastmasters, howsoever small and howsoever large I could give, had actually taken me to the point where I was. So as we end this session today, I wish you, all of you, a wonderful epiphany of your own that can take you places that you always wish to go. And wherever you go, please make sure you always come back to this session every week around this time. We'll roll out the nominations and will be open for the roles soon. Please start planning today so that you can, start planning and go take up that role rather than waiting for Wednesday, Thursday and realizing it might be too late. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for joining. Have a great weekend and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks a ton, guys.